Welcome to True House Stories. I am Lenny Fontana, coming out of New York City. The only place in the world where you can get pizza at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or if somebody said to me, we went out clubbing and they were hungry at 5:30 and they want to go have Chinese food, we can go to Chinatown. You know what I'm saying, everybody? New York City. And today's a special broadcast on a Sunday with some amazing people. And we've all came together and we agreed that we would celebrate this man's life. I want to show his picture first before I bring everybody up. Michael Procter. Michael Procter's no longer with us, but some of the people that knew and loved him are. And also as far as worked with him and of course, everything else. And I have actually his ex with us, who's one of my close friends, and she runs a fantastic show. And not only a show, but she does her Facebook group page called Babou's House. Babou's House. Of course, today's show is Michael Procter, Celebration Life. And I was able to get some of the wonderful people, which I'm going to bring up right now. I'm going to tell you who they are. We have Babou.
Hi, Lenny.
Keith Kemper.
Hey, Lenny, how are you?
My boy, my man, DJ extraordinaire, Tony Carassco, who is now in Italy live, simulcast out of Italy. What's up, Tony? Let's unmute you. Come and say hello. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry. Welcome, Tony. Thank you, bro. And of course, DJ Spen. I think he's frozen, but he's there.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Spen's in motion right now. This is what I call about multitasking. He's in motion to Nueva York.
Yes.
From America, from south part of America. Not South America, South. Baltimore. It's upcoming in New York. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for loaning your generous Sunday to everyone, the True House Stories fans. And of course, they're probably wondering why we're doing this show. And of course, let's start with, let me say hello and direct this right to Babou.
Hi, Lenny.
Hello, my dear. How are you, honey? You good?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And I would do this every day if I could, but today's a special day. We're celebrating Michael Procter, who you love and adore, and you both share a child, wonderful daughter.
Yes.
First of all, we're in COVID era, coming kind of out of COVID. How are you handling everything in Switzerland? What's going on?
We're slowly opening up, but the clubs are still closed since 1 year. We don't allow no events, not even outdoor events. So music-wise and DJ-wise and club-wise, it's totally down. Everything is shut down. And we had the Street Parade coming in August, which is like the biggest house tech festival you can have, with like about 1 million people dancing on the street. Had to cancel it last year, and it looks like we're going to cancel it again this year. It's just too risky. We just don't really want to risk anything because our government handles everything very well. We're safe, and our numbers are really low, but they just don't want to open up too fast. So, and I'm still not at work, also the indoor things, everything is closed. But now next week they held a new press conference, and we hope we open up in June. We pray we open up. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me give Babou. If you spare me 1 second, I want to explain something about Babou. I'm going to talk about like you're not here. So listen to this carefully, Babou. I've never met someone more passionate about vocal house music than this woman.
That's right.
Believe when I tell you, they're the most passionate people that will be outspoken in dance music, will scream at you when she doesn't believe in it. She lets you know where you stand at all times. Oh my God. But she's got a huge heart of gold. And I know that. And before Spen came into this picture, Babou came to me about this idea in her mind that she wanted to try to execute. And so let me reenact the phone call, of course. As Babou called me, she says, Lenny, I found vocals. I said, vocals to what? She says, to Michael. Procter? Just like that. She said, yes, we found this dad. And I have the vocals. Michael did this 20 years prior, 25 years ago. I went, I have an idea. I got this young DJ, Lomax. We're going to go in the studio. I said, you sure? She says, I think I can do it. I says, I know you can do it. I remember sounding, I know you can do it. So she says, I'm going to do it. He says, can you do me one favor? I says, what? She says, can you look over me like a godfather in a sense? Can you, if I come to you and ask you for advice? I said, yeah, 100%, anytime. Well, that was the worst thing I could have did, because here we go. Here we go. That phone didn't stop ringing. Lenny, what you think? I want to check. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever you do, I'm happy. And I would try to give her loving, guided advice. In a sense, like an older brother speaking to his sister, saying, "Don't do that. This is a good idea. Take it under consideration." Because Babou's very headstrong. Those that know Babou, she makes a decision, and Babou stands behind it.
That's
so now
right.
I'm going to turn behind the camera. I'm going to turn over to Babou, and she's going to tell you how she found these wonderful vocals and a little bit of the story of how this whole project came together. And this is a really true house story. But before that, Babou, can you explain a little about Michael, the vocalist, a little bit about his life, who he was, because this is what people want to know.
Yes. Michael was born in Peoria, and he moved to Vegas in 1979. And, he started doing some little gigs and some performing vocals over there and over there. Then he joined the group Fifth Dimension, where he was a lead singer, and they were touring and cruise ships and all over. And, he was in that group for like about 3 years. And then he was like, I want to step up, because he did a lot of jazz performance back then. Originally he really comes from jazz. Even over here in Switzerland, he was like, I want to put a band together and I want to perform some live jazz. So we went to, look for musicians, and they started rehearsing, and we do jazz gigs over here, at the Blue Note, and, all kinds of areas and events that he performed. But then, he started to record house songs. And what a lot of people may not know about Michael, he was an amazing writer. Like all the lyrics, really all the lyrics, and no matter what song it is, he wrote. Like he had so much, like I remember sometimes, I woke up at night and I was like, where is he? And he was somewhere writing. And I said, I got some lyrics on my mind. So he was really an amazing writer. He wrote a book with poems, and, so that was like a big part of his music, is just because he always first had the lyrics. And then he was like, okay, now I want to do a song. But he was really an amazing, amazing writer. And then he started collaborating with Brian Tappert, Sulfuric. And that's when it really started to hit with the, Love Don't Live and Fall Down, Deliver Me, and, all these classics that people still play today. And I worked in a big club over here in Switzerland called The Jail. And I was responsible for all the DJ booking.
I remember The Jail.
Yes.
I remember The Jail.
Big club.
Like La Mac, huge like Mad Club for people.
Yes.
Big club.
And the reason why we named it Jail was because they had a real jail, where people have to sit down their penalties, and they had to rebuild it. So we took all the doors from the cells and everything and put it in there as decoration. So that's why we called it The Jail. And I was responsible for the booking. And, they gave me total freedom. I could book whoever I wanted. And I said, okay, this is time for some soulful house music. I'm going to turn this around in Zurich. And, I start booking Terry Hunter. Jesse Saunders was a resident. I had Colonel Abrams performing live in a duet with Michael. We had Javier Morales. We had like all the, even Spen. I booked Spen for a party, not in the club, but we made a tour. And, Spen was on the flyer together with a few other DJs, but he couldn't make it. So that was like 25 years ago. And I just found that flyer a few months ago and I sent it to Spen. I said, do you remember? Like you were even already back then on the flyer. So that's what we did. And, we were really touring all over Switzerland. He started having gigs in Germany. He started to record songs with Musti in Germany. And then I brought in Tony Carassco, which, he's really family. I know he knows our daughter since she's 5. And, he was a resident for us. Like whenever we had a show, he came to play because, he used to live in Milan. That's like a 3 hours drive to Zurich. And also our dear friend, Tony Wilson. It's like my big brother watching over me now that Michael is gone. He came to perform for the first time in Switzerland ever. And people liked him so much he's from Def Crew production in Miami. And so, we were doing all this, but a lot of people just don't know that Michael was really an amazing writer. Yeah.
But the other thing about Michael was nobody sounded like him vocally. No one sounded like Michael in a sense. Like he had that old sound, like a Temptations voice, like that kind of Jimmy Ruffin.
Do you want me to tell you something? It sounds really funny.
Tell me.
First time I heard this voice, I was like, there's something familiar with, what's his name? I just forgot. Tom Jones. If you listen clearly, I was like, of course not, but I was like, I hear something that, you sound a little bit like you have that strong power like Tom Jones. And that's, that was the first time I heard him. And I was such a fan of his voice because I also know him from ballads and singing jazz. And he also has a very smooth voice. It's not only powerful, like when he sings Love Don't Live, So pussycat, no. So that's why I booked him, because I was like, I absolutely adore his voice and he needs to perform. And so we booked him over to Zurich and he performed live at the club. And that's where I'll start.
But when he came out with that, I think the first song I remember hearing was Deliver Me in dance music, right?
Yes.
Deliver Me.
Yeah.
Deliver Me dropped and everybody was like, what was this? What is this? Because, there's so many singers in dance music. But, let's just say this, like a Michael Watford or Teddy Pendergrass or any of those type of voices, they stand out immediately. And
you can hear it from a million. Yeah.
It's like instantaneous. You go, wow, what's that? Because he had the kind of voice that commanded respect. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't the kind of singer where you go, he's all right. It's like, yo, Michael's singing. Everybody be quiet. Listen, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, this boy is letting us have it. He's giving it to us. Never forgot when I saw him at, I think it was Winter Music Conference when he
in Miami. Yeah.
He performed many, many, many moons ago. And we were just like, holy smoke, this guy's incredible. So now moving forward, Babou, as time goes on, you book him and you get to know him.
No, I fell in love with him. That's what's up.
I didn't want to say that, but okay. So let's go on. So the story starts to become the romance. Where's this romance taking us? You're the only one who can paint the picture, my dear. Tell us.
Well, like I said, I booked him in that club, and we had to. I was also. I always took care about the artists when they flew in. I picked them up at the airport, made sure they got comfortable to the hotel. They have a nice room and all that. So I had to pick him up and brought him to the hotel. He said he wanted to get some rest, and then I picked him up for the sound check. And he walked in. He was like, "Hi, love." I was done. That was it.
You were like this.
It was just, I don't know. It was
one word to you. Hi, love.
He was like, "Hi, love." And the way he looked at me, we were done. That was love at first sight. I swear. I swear. And, so he had the sound check, and, I brought him back to the hotel, and I was like, there's something about him. I don't know. My heart was pounding, and I don't know. It's so hard to describe, but it was just, I was like, I need to see him again as soon as I can. Like, now.
So what was the plan, to send him back to America?
And so, we went, he had the show, and he was here for another 2 days. And he invited me for dinner. So we went out for dinner, and we never separated from that day alone again. That was it. We were a couple. We were in love. We were falling in love. Let me put it this way. I mean, you got butterflies and, but like really being in love, that's just something that grows with, we worked together and we had a child. That's, but we were really falling in love, like big time. And then, first it was a back and forth, because he used to live in Vegas and I used to live here, and I had my job here and he had these things there. But, it couldn't go on like this, because I miss him too much and he missed me. And so he was like, it's easier for me to come over there. And, because Europe is a great market also to perform. And so that's what he did. He sold all his stuff, gave up his apartment, put a few things in storage, and he flew over, and he stayed here for 4 years.
So you went from, he brought him to the club. Next thing you know, he goes home.
Yes.
A U-turn.
Yes.
He goes right back.
Yes.
So now you do all his, okay, so of course you two consummate, get together. Child is born, beautiful daughter, I know. Are you taking care, or now, besides being in love with him, are you also working with him to take care of his business too at that time?
Well, I was his agent. I did all his bookings. Like wherever he performed, I called all the clubs up, I sent out his package, and, tried to get gigs. And we did really well. Like, we were really touring all over Switzerland. He started to get gigs in Italy and Germany. But, I was the one behind the scene. Like, I really did all the contracts for him, the performing contracts, the performance rider. And I went to the shows with him to make sure, we get paid. And I took care about his wardrobe, make sure he got his tea with honey for his voice, and just stuff like that. That was really, we were a team. Like, we walked together in the club. We left the club together. And over here, I just did all the like I said, the contracts, the office stuff. And he was just home writing songs, going to the studio, recording. And so we were like, private and business wise, we were just, like Spen and his beautiful wife. We did everything together.
Right. So here's the question now. Was this after Urban Blues Project?
Yes. Yes.
This is all after Love Don't Live, because he's having huge success now. He's having with Brian Tappert, Sulfuric.
That was all after. Yeah.
Brian Tappert, for those that don't know, that may be a little younger or older, we'll recap. Brian Tappert, who is now the owner of Tracksource.
Tracksource.
He was the owner of Sulfuric Recordings and was half of the partnership of Urban Blues Project, and also all those pseudonyms that they were producing under, he produced Donna Allen as well. He used to join along with Mark Pomeroy, and they helped to make this Vegas style singer become a household house music name within minutes. It was like, we didn't know this man existed, and all of a sudden, but wham, bam, thank you, man. He's now one of the hottest vocalists. Because if I remember correctly, I think it was until A&M Records signed him. That's when things really started blowing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just all of a sudden went from, you know, like you said, he was doing show dates, he was part of the group, and then he became this.
Right.
Okay. So of course, to every great marriage, you're handling the A&Ring, the management, you're doing what a woman would do who loves their man, and as well trying to keep the business running. So you said 4 years he lived in Switzerland?
Yes.
Was he able to adjust to living in Europe full time, or was there a difference?
It was funny when he first drove over here. But you know, it's of course it's different. I mean, you know, you're on the other side of the world, and like in the beginning, I was all he had because all his friends are over in the States and his family's over in the States, and you know, he has another 2 daughters in the States.
Well, tell you
from his first marriage, and you know that's not easy. But you know, we were doing so good, but it took him some time to adjust. That's for sure. I mean, he's not speaking the language though. That's the first thing. It's like I mean, many people speak English over here, but it's not your language. So it was not easy. Not all the time. It was not easy all the time.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. Okay, so then
he was the boss.
So now, of course, to every great moment, there's also a moment of things get tough, rocky road. Okay, to every story, to every great band, you hear the same story.
Yes.
They start to get kind of. I still love you, honey, but it's getting tough. We're not seeing eye to eye. So you're gonna have to fill that picture a little bit before, because he came back to America, and I remember.
Yeah, he moved back, and I'm not gonna get into why we.
No.
You know, but he moved back, and you know, I'm stubborn, like you said before, and I'm hard-headed, and I didn't speak to him for like half a year. But you know,
when he was in Switzerland, or when he came back?
When he moved back, I said, I'm not going to talk to you no more. But you know, he was a very, 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 very good father to our girl. Like he was always there for her, and so we still connected because you know he called and he was like, I would like to talk to Ya, and you know Yamina, her name is Yamina, but he always called her Ya, and then something happened with her we needed to discuss, and I just realized he's like my best friend. I just can't without him, and we were really best friends ever since. Like there was not 1 week we didn't speak to each other for hours. Like, you know, you love many times in life, but there's only one soul that burns your heart forever. And that was him. He was my soulmate. So, you know, we were really, till like the last day, we were best friends, and he was always connected with my daughter. He brought her when she did her bachelor in banking and financing. She was like really overwhelmed, and he brought her through the whole thing. Like every time she called him, and he calmed her down and took her to have faith. And he recorded a song for her called "Get On Out There." That's actually he wrote that song for her. Like, get on out there and show me what you got. And that was for her, you know, bachelor that she did and all that. So he was, you know, it was just that little time that I was like, But, you know, after that, we were just, you know, he's my baby. You know, he will always be my baby, always.
Do you mind sharing with us how old he would have been this year?
He would have been 66.
66. Let me tell you something. That man never aged a day over 35. And I used to tell him that every time. Fabuloso. And I'm going to say it truthfully. I'm Puerto Rican. Black don't crack. And
I know.
He looked fabuloso. I used to tell him every time I saw him, I said, dude, you look like you're ready. Like you're in the same, like when I met you, it's like time never stopped. And of course,
he was a very classy man. Like he was very, the way he dressed was very elegant. Let me tell you something.
Tell me, Babou.
He even ironed his underwear.
And tissue, and also his lapel. They would lapel.
I said, you can iron that stuff yourself. I'm not going to iron you. But, that's how he was. He was like, everything needed to be like this. And he was very, he always needed to dress nice. That was just him. He just really had a lot of class and a lot of style. That was him.
When you are in your underwear, that is... oh, I don't know anybody these days.
No.
But that's the old generation would do that.
Yes.
All the time. Wow.
So that was him. Yeah.
So we did. He has some eyes to health issues, of course. In the end, this is there was a lot of things going on. Can you officially tell everyone when he did pass? What was it?
Well, he was rushed into the hospital on Christmas, 2019. And it was really like about life and death. I'm not going to get into what it was. And, it was really like I was like, for about 2 weeks, we didn't know if he will make it. But somehow he recovered a little bit. And they moved him to rehab the second week in January. No, the third week in January. They moved him to rehab. And, we knew it will take a long time for him to really recover, but we were really positive. And on our granddaughter's birthday, like she's 8, Kimura, we received a phone call that he passed. That was January 23rd, 2020, last year.
So that's basically right before COVID hit.
Right before COVID hit. Yeah. So it's somewhere over here in February. Yeah.
Remember, I got the phone call from you when it happened. And of course, it's never an easy moment. We all felt terrible.
No.
Horrible. Horrible to have to hear that news.
Yeah.
But
it was unexpected because we really thought he's going to recover. That was, that made it even worse because we were so, like, I was able to talk to him on the phone and, he sounded weak, but, I thought, it's going to be okay. It just needs time. And so it was kind of unexpected and that was really hard. It was like, especially like, you don't even want to know how my daughter, she was, oh, wow. That was,
look.
It was so hard on her. It was really,
never get over losing a parent. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Everybody who's dealt with that knows don't replace people. And being that's her father is a different relationship.
Yeah.
Than you as him being your partner and husband. And
right.
All that.
Right. Yeah.
But he left behind a huge legacy. I mean, his voice is heard all the time.
Yes, he did. And that's the whole thing about everything. Also, this project now, like sometimes it's mixed emotions. Sometimes I'm having a hard time listening to his voice because it hurts. Because I know he's not here no more. But then sometimes I'm just really thankful that I'm still able to hear his voice. And like my daughter, she can't. Like she can't listen to songs and she's just not ready. But for me, it's different, And when we started this project, it was in the beginning, it was really hard for me just to listen to these a cappella vocals and over and again. Every time we did something in the studio over and over again, it was like, wow, that's tough, but also helpful. It's just both, it balances it out.
Okay, so where now tell everybody in the electronic dance music community that's tuned in, where did these vocals come from? Because we never heard this song before. Like
they've never been released. Michael had a good friend over here in Switzerland, Joe Calabro from World Vision, and he's a producer. And they hooked up, and sometimes Michael went to the studio and they started recording stuff, and that night he went to the studio, and he said, I'm going to be late because I got so many things on my mind that I just want to drop and I want to record. And that's what, whenever he got up at 3 a.m. and he left, that's who he was. And so I called him like at 5 a.m. I said, baby, are you okay? Because, it's like, he said, yeah, I'm just at the studio. I just had something on my mind and I recorded it, but I'll be soon. And that's these vocals.
Okay.
He just went into the booth and he didn't even write the lyrics down. So, he just recorded these vocals.
What year was that about that he did that?
1997.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So, that was just something he did for himself, and, just a little jam session, you can say. And I found these vocals.
Okay.
And they were like pure a cappella. So I'm like, okay, now, that's the only unreleased song that we can bring out. And I just want to do something after he passed because, I want to keep his legacy up. And so I said, since it's, we have these vocals, why don't we do a song?
Right.